with Paul Daner, Mark Shalafoo, from listener questions to some running gags. Insider stories, ambush life, that dad life, and respect for flags. Kick off the weekend, alright? It's the Growler Friday Show. It's Dey Light.
All right, welcome into the latest edition of Dey Light. Paul Daner Jr., Mark Shalafoo, excited to be with you on a Friday of a big Bengals weekend. Mark, how are you doing? How is life?
I'm psyched, man. This is a big weekend. I'm fired up for that. How are you doing? What flag you got flying today?
So I have a birthday flag flying, and we had the birthday flag up last weekend for my daughter's birthday, but you know whose birthday it is today?
I do not.
Sztanyo. It is the Sztanyo birthday today. So we've got I'm flying the birthday flag for our guy, Eric Stano.
What an honor.
Yeah, I know. We'll have him on later. We can wish him happy birthday in person.
That's a huge, man. He's going to be psyched to hear that. I don't think anyone can top that for a birthday gift.
No, that it doesn't get better than that. All the word of mouth about his birthday that's going to be out there on these streets, thanks to that flag. It's big time. It's big time. We have a lot to get to, a lot of fun stuff. It has been a rather, I don't know if intense week is the right word for it, but there is a lot of intensity in the Bengals building. Bengals fans are feeling a little tense. The happiness of the first win subsided about like 4 hours after the first win because they had to watch the Ravens just absolutely throttle Buffalo on Sunday Night Football and make them nervous about what this run defense is about to do this weekend. So with that said, we're Dey Light. Okay. We're here for the light. There's a lot of other stuff we want to make sure we're touching on. So we are going to do that. But you know what else we're going to do?
What's that?
We're going to talk about our next live show. Our next live show.
Yeah. Those are so fun.
They're so fun. We've had such a blast. I'm already hearing from people, Mark, that are coming to the next one, people that are coming in from out of town, asking about, where to go, where to park, things to do that weekend. And so I'm excited about that. It's on the 27th. It's the Eagles game. We will be doing a noon kick for us. They're a 4:00 game that day. And we'll be having all the same party we've been doing down at BetMGM Nation Kitchen and Bar at the Banks. Awesome venue. It's great for any big game. Anytime you want to be down in the Banks, you can go to nationkitchenandbar.com and you can just reserve a table and make sure you have table and view and good beer and good food for any game you want to watch. But specifically for our show, come on down there. It's such a good time. $3 Cincy lights, drink for cheap, have a good time, win some stuff. I mean, I don't know what else you want from us.
No, it's a great time. I mean, I had to watch this last game in Vegas with a Growl Pal, and that's a great way to watch a football game. But you know what's even better is before you watch a football game, spending some time with dozens and hundreds of Growl Pals down there at BetMGM Nation Kitchen. So that's what makes it even sweeter. So I'm already looking forward to that one.
Yeah, so much fun. Everybody that came up and talked to us after the show, and great seeing all you guys. We love that. So that is going on the 27th. Look out for more information on that coming forth soon. For now, though, let's get into this week a little bit. I have my favorite story of the week. And one, I don't know, did you catch wind of the Penn State story? The Penn Station story, not the Penn State story.
I was going to say, those are probably two very different stories.
Very different,
yes.
Very different. This one much lighter. Did you catch wind of it?
I did not. What happened to Penn Station?
What was going on? Okay,
No.
So Penn Station had a deal with a promotion with the Bengals that if the Bengals win, you win, and on Dey Tuesdays after a victory, buy any sub and you get a second one free.
Whoa.
Okay? Yeah, big deal. Penn Station.
Is a big deal. I wish I known
Likeable,
that.
Right? Well, you know who thought it was a big deal? Literally everyone. Literally every Bengals fan that has been probably heard about the promotion. They finally got a win. You know what? I'm doing the Dey Tuesday. Apparently, they normally do about 3,000. This is according to a story off of Fox 19's website. They normally do about 3,000 orders online. Their online system does. They were over 13,000 online orders at Penn State.
What the heck?
So
That's
the system
insane.
shuts down, total crash. People want their subs. They're happy the Bengals won, but now this promotion's gone haywire. Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. The Fox 19 story plucked a couple of happy Facebook quotes, which you don't normally see that on the Facebook.
No.
Thanks, Penn Station Harrison, which is normally a very sarcastic start on Facebook. I placed my online order and arrived a little ahead of the scheduled pickup time. You were all slammed, but you were doing great to keep it rolling. And there's some more things like that. They are changing the promotion to find ways to make it not shut their system down, apparently. So they're changing that going forward. That's kind of the news story element of it. I'm just trying to imagine being like the dude that had to open that morning, right? On Tuesday, like, all right, I guess there's some Bengals. Hey, John, wasn't there some Bengals promotion thing we're supposed to be aware of? Yeah. Let me look into that. Next thing you know, 13,000 orders are rolling in across the tri-state, and they're like just trying to keep up. Worst day ever. How many people that work at Penn Station quit? That's what I want to know. How many?
I mean, there's probably not many people working there to begin with. I don't know if you've been in a Penn Station recently, but there's like 2 people there. It's a skeleton crew that keeps that place afloat. And the food is great. So like if you're hitting like more than 4 times normal shift there, I imagine people were probably quitting in that first quarter of that day, just getting out of that, being the first lifeboat off the Titanic there, just getting right out.
There's nothing crazy. There's nothing worse than a day that's like insanely busy when you just didn't see it coming. And maybe they should have seen it coming a little bit here, but any job you work at that age, if you're younger or whatever, you're one of those jobs. It's just hard work, when it gets going. That's just the worst when you don't come in with the right attitude for 13,000.
Yeah. I hope, and I don't know that Penn Station did this, but I'm hoping that they at least gave them like a nice hero bump in pay for the day, like they did for all the grocery workers during COVID. Like if you're going to deal with that deluge of fans, you got to give these kids some incentive to get these sandwiches out the door.
Well, I hope the Bengals fans, if you're Growl Pals and you're Bengals fans and you went, tip these people. I don't even know if you're allowed to, but just throw money at them a little bit extra if you see them going through something like this again. Hopefully they have it fixed. Hopefully the Bengals and them have their whole situation set up a little bit better to deal with it. But I just can't imagine being one of those people that showed up that day and you find out this Bengals promotion has gone off the rails.
Did Penn Station just think the Bengals were never going to win? That is a terrible idea. Clearly, they should have been, on top of that a little bit better. But listen, if you are a broken Penn Station employee and your spirit was shattered that day and you need recovery and you're of age, come to our live show. We'll get you a Cincy Light. We'll take care of you the way maybe your employer should have thought to do ahead of time.
We should see if Cincy shirts can make a "I survived the Bengals buy one get one Penn Station promotion" shirt. But just like some broken Penn Station employee, we can have them there available at the live show. We'll give them to you. Yeah.
It's not some more Growl Pal merch is always a good idea.
Okay, I have 2. Can I sneak in a second favorite? This one happened basically over in the middle of the night, and so I have been laughing about it all morning. I'm very much enjoying it, and it is last night the Falcons played the Bucks, and it ended on a walk-off overtime touchdown by Cutterell Hodge from Atlanta.
Who?
Hodge.
He's
kind of bounced around. He's one of their back end of the receiver room, and he has absolute turbo boosters. And he takes off for the game-winning touchdown. And when you do this, you're taken off to this interview and that interview. He's like, this is the greatest night of my life. This is everything I've ever played football for, all this stuff. And then the social media person comes up to you and gives you a phone and is like, hey, give a message to Atlanta. And so he does. And then this happened. Out of this dude right behind him. Hey, Atlanta, we're here. So here, let's go back to the beginning. Hey, Atlanta, we're here. Look, we're here, Atlanta. Let me show the crowd. Look, this woman is absolutely pulverizing this dude right behind her. Play it out. Watch this. She is just destroying this dude, just walloping him into the seat. Still going. People are concerned for that man's well-being now. It's still going. This is unbelievable. Watch it again. As soon as he turns to the stage, hey, Atlanta, what's up? How are you doing? Well, we are fighting.
Oh, man.
Just destruction over this guy's head. He didn't know that was coming.
That looks like a Falcons fan. Why is she so mad?
I don't know why she's so mad, but she is not having it with that guy.
That is hilarious. Dang, she's wailing on him.
It's getting beat up into submission over this guy's head.
Those are some nice hooks.
I feel like she's done that in a Waffle House or two. I've been in one of those Waffle Houses where the fights go down. That's what it looks like. There are real fighters in there.
Yeah, they're probably wearing a Falcons jersey too when they do it, just going after it. She looks like Amazing. She wanted to buy 2 subs from Penn Station and they couldn't get her that second one for free. So she's just like taking out her anger elsewhere.
Live look at Penn Station on Tuesday there, I think. Amazing stuff. I just really enjoyed that. I wanted to make sure that we could sneak that in. A little more visual for you audio people, but just envision someone absolutely pummeling someone behind
a woman just in
this
full fist fight.
The day of his life. Yeah.
I hope that our fans are so excited after this weekend's game that they are fist fighting in the stands as well out of pure elation and joy, which is what I assume that was. It's just the happiest kind of fist fighting.
Yes. Do you have any favorite stories from the week?
Well, the story of the week that I wanted to talk about was it happened from our show. I was catching some heat on Twitter this week because on our episode last week, we were discussing the defense in the game against Carolina. And you said that the defense might be better because there's no way the defensive line could be worse. And I just, accurately pointed out that a lot of the production from the defensive line had been coming from one specific player who's one of the best in the NFL. A lot of the pressure, sacks, everything. And, I said, yeah, there's a way that defensive line actually could be worse if something was to happen to him. Very obvious, right? Like that's something we all know. He's one of the best players on the team. Then Trey Hendrickson got hurt and was out for the last part of that game. And then everyone started coming for me. They're like, this is your fault. You spoke it into existence. You used your magic wrong. So I just want to come out with a full apology for that. And I would also like to say that I think that the Baltimore Ravens are the best team in football. I am so impressed with how healthy they've been. They never get hurt. They must have the best training staff in the NFL. Lamar Jackson always makes the right decisions. He's never throwing multiple interception games. He's definitely not getting hurt anymore, which is just, great for them. Derrick Henry looks like vintage Derrick Henry. He's not making any mistakes. So, I'm just really excited to see what happens this weekend, and I hope the magic works.
Welcome to my life, Mark. Welcome to my life, where it's like it just feels like you're always going to end up the reason. It's shoot the messenger season even for you.
Yeah, I know. I'm catching some of that Paul Downer Jr. energy from some of these mad people on Twitter. It's like the Twitter fist fight energy.
It is. Oh, speaking of the Twitter fist fight energy, I have my 3 favorite Mark tweets from Sunday. Now you did this early in the morning in Vegas with a Growl Pal from
that is true.
Book.
I was at the comedy festival in Las Vegas with some of the best comics out there, and it was a debaucherous weekend, but I still woke up early on Sunday, hooked up with a Growl Pal to watch the game. So shout out Andrew. We were watching that together. And, shout out Dana White, who ended up paying for that meal indirectly.
Wow.
But, so I was with a Growl Pal, and I still took the time to fire off some angry tweets.
Oh, you did. And I really liked it. And you are getting noticed. A lot of people are starting to take notice of your unhinged tweets. I'm noticing the replies are growing and people are putting together from previous weeks. This was a note in the email from Earl. Also thoroughly enjoying Mark's mid-game X posts. I compare it to having a good punter. You don't think you need it, but it is fun to have.
Now that we have a good
well
punter,
done.
I agree. It is fun to have a good punter. And I've never been compared to a good punter before. That is exciting. That's a new high mark for me.
I feel like you're kind of like the Ryan Rehkow of the Bengals beat now. Like you're in the mix. We didn't expect you to be here, but man, you sure have made an impression early into this season, and it looks like you're going to be sticking around. Like I think you should be proud to be Ryan Rehkow.
Absolutely. I've got one small job, and all I have to do is worry about that. And everyone else gets to do the heavy lifting. I just get to come in, shine for a minute, and then throw the ball back in your court.
Fire off 3 to 6 good tweets. And just like 3 to 6 good punts. That's all you need.
Yeah.
All right. And holding this show together as well. Look at us. Look at
Right.
us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm all punter now.
The holding and the punting. Okay. Number 3. Here's my number 3. Dax Hill is such an intuitive player. Even before the opposing player catches the ball, he's already missing a tackle. That was well done. There was that one where he basically was already falling before the guy caught it, getting himself prepared for the mistake.
And he wasn't even the worst cornerback that day, but Dax with that history, it's a real easy play to make. And so I went right after him.
You've been focusing on the missed tackles, rightfully so. I think
I'm the only one. Yeah.
Tweets. Yeah.
I'm the only one that's picked up on that. I know ball, so yeah.
Ball. Chase practicing against a defense that constantly missed tackles prepares him to keep that play alive and score, which is
that was on his long touchdown, right? So and I feel like I'm right on that. He's probably he knows how to get around a guy that's not really trying super hard to tackle, and that he sees that defense every day. He's like, oh, that's how you do it. You just kind of brush off him a little bit and then keep going.
Okay, number 1 for me this week though was trade Brad Robbins for a Pro Bowl defensive tackle. Well done. The amount of, but this is the level that you get. Like, this is not out of the ordinary of the trade suggestions that we will hear for the next month. So this one hit home for me personally, because I just feel like I always am getting these types of suggestions. Like, sure, like why wouldn't Tennessee want to give up Jeffrey Simmons for Robbins? They need a punter, right?
And we have 2.
We got 2. Might as well ship them off. So well done on that one. That one hit me right in the heartstrings.
Yeah, those and I can't stand. That's the one thing I can't stand when you're seeing all that discourse is the one guy who solved it all. Just take our worst player, trade it for somebody else's best player. Make that guy the GM because he has got it unlocked.
Make the moves happen. I love it. All right. It is now that time in the show where we go to our good friend and yours, who's having a very special birthday today, Eric Sztanyo. Happy birthday, buddy. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thank you. Thank you for flying the flag. That's an honor. Yeah. I'm going to completely believe that you did that for me and not because you're too busy to take it down from your daughter's birthday.
I was too busy to take it down from my daughter's birthday at first. But then we had a neighbor birthday on Wednesday. And once I realized it was your birthday, I was like, well, man, I mean, keep it flying because the celebration keeps rolling on.
That's amazing. Thank you. Hey.
Yeah, absolutely. You deserve it. For those that don't know, and if you don't, I don't know where you've been, Eric Sztanyo. You can find him, Team Sztanyo, on YouTube. Go to the YouTube channel over there, SZTANYO, for all your Cincinnati real estate needs. You want to know about neighborhoods, you want to know about schools, you want to know about markets, you want to know about buying, selling, anything you need to know about real estate in the Cincinnati area, he's got you covered. There's probably already a video up there about it, or you can just hit them up and you'll be able to just ask him, hey, help me out, and he will do it. What's going on?
What's going on? Good to see you guys. My Arby's for the week was that I went to Penn Station and was in that chaos. And I thought I was doing a great thing. I've got 5 kids. I called my wife. I'm like, sweetie, take the night off. I'm going to bring home the subs, and
hunter-gatherer.
I went in there. It was complete chaos. That there was fear in that man's eyes behind the register. He was freaking out. People were angry. They were lining out. And I'm just like, I can't stay. I got to take charge of this. I just raised my hand. I was like, can we get a refund? Can we come back tomorrow? The man went back and got a yellow notepad. He was like, yes, for the love of God, please write your name down here. Get refunds. So I'm like, people, get in line behind me. Let this man
Wow.
have a breather.
Take
yellow
charge.
pad?
This is the kind of person you want as your realtor. Take
I mean-
charge of a chaotic situation.
What am I going to do? Tell my wife I'm going to be home 2 hours later for some subs? Like, no, look, let's clear up the situation and say, I don't know if I'll ever see that money again, but it was probably better than waiting in that restaurant for the next 2 hours. I looked at that guy before I left and I said, hey man, you got this. And just
He did not.
Nothing says legitimate refund like writing your name down on a yellow legal pad.
Yeah, I
Isn't
said
that what you use at our live shows, Mark?
Yeah. I invented the Penn Station system.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. That's awesome stuff. Good firsthand knowledge. Sztanyo, what do you got for me?
All right, question for you this week. Jay was talking about stats of the defense. Is very sad about their possibility of becoming a top 10 defense. But my question, I'm not aiming for top 10. Our offense is looking great. What would it take for them to just be average? Like, can they get to average? They look good against KC. They look good in training camp. I don't think that matters at all. But can they be an average defense? And if so, how do they get there, Paul? Give us the hope.
The hope here's the nutshell hope. Your draft picks need to do what a lot of draft picks do, get better. Like they are so based around the arrow pointing up on young players, DJ Turner, Cam Taylor-Britt, Miles Murphy, Chris Jenkins. These are all players, and there's others obviously, that they need to come along, and maybe Jordan Battle ends up amongst that mix. We know Bengals fans got the pitchforks out on that one, but that's what it is. To me, that's how they get better. We know what the rest is, and I think in time you have to at some point. You may not believe it at this point, or you may have big doubts, which are earned, that Lou Anarumo can get this thing right. But I think that's what it is. It's that look. He can steady the ship. He even steadied last year's ship for a little while there. And these young players should get better, need to get better. That's your hope. I mean, that's the path. Yep. That is the path. Young players and Lou being able to get things steady is what you're betting on to get this thing to the average level that it needs to be. They're getting healthy again, and that's going to make a big difference. I think just having actual real professionals playing the vast majority of your snaps is a big deal.
0% pressure from Zach Carter. I think I'm done with that.
I think people are done with the Zach Carter experiment. And probably the Tufele and the Lawrence guy are probably kind of people would rather that we didn't have to watch that.
Hopeful Paul Daner. So you're telling us?
Yeah, I'm here for it. I have a question for you. So I'm hearing that the market's getting better. Okay. That maybe we're going to see. Is that true? Is that not true? Am I hearing things like, are we trending in a better direction to go out there and actually buy without having to, give up arms and legs and all our valuables?
Yeah. If you're a buyer, then definitely, yes, it's shifting your way, which is great news because you have been having to sell your firstborn child the last few years. So yeah, interest rates have come down a little bit. Inventory is staying days on market a little bit longer. We're seeing a few more price reductions. Now that said, if sellers are pricing it right, I had a seller this week. We priced it right. We got into multiple offers. We still got that cash offer that waived inspections. So it's still low inventory overall, but it is shifting a little bit in the buyer's favor. Now, Paul, I've got stats for you. Sztanyo's got
what?
Let's go. Sztanyo's got stats.
Let's go. Got the stats. I love it.
All right, here we go. So did you know that 80 to 90% of the homes that are sold in a market, in any market, are sold by 10 to 20% of the real estate agents?
Really?
Whoa.
Yes, that Pareto principle is in effect. And a second stat follow-up, 50% of the real estate agents have not sold a single home out there the last year.
Whoa.
Really?
Yes. So I bring that up to say that I know everybody knows a family or a friend who's a real estate agent, or 7 of them. And you just need to double check if they've sold a home in the last year, or maybe 2, and if they know what's going on in the market. Team Sztanyo, we were number 1 in our category for production in all.
Let's go.
We were not number 1, excuse me. We were in the 1% of sales in our category in the last year, and our team's growing. We would love to help you out. I would ask you give us a shot. The other question I would ask is, if you know a family or friend who's a real estate agent, if they weren't your family or friend, would they be your first call to buy or sell a house? So that's my question. Those are my stats for the day.
And you know what the next call should be? It should be to Team Sztanyo. You can just email directly info@teamsztanyo.com, SZTANYO. Go to teamsztanyo.com to connect. And of course, if you just want information, hit up that YouTube channel at Team Sztanyo. You can get everything you need there. But yeah, hit up our guy. And happy birthday, my guy. Hey, happy birthday. Absolutely. You. Have a great one. Oh, be careful at Penn Station. It's live out there.
All right, thanks.
Have a good
See
one.
you later.
Good to have a birthday guy on with us. You know, It's a celebration. It's just a celebration today. Early in the season, the hopes are still alive for at least 48 more hours. Things are looking good. And people, I got to shout out the Growl Pals, the Growler Podcast at gmail.com is where you can send your questions in. Man, they are hammering it with Growler Bet answers, with questions. It's really hard to keep up, and I know we only have so much time to go through these. If you've noticed, I've started dropping some questions into some of the other pods during the week because there's just too many. There's just so many to try to get to. We love you guys. Keep sending them in. We're keep trying to theme them together so we touch on a lot of the stuff you guys are asking us about. But shout out to everybody that's been sending questions. Keep them coming. The Growler Podcast at gmail.com. Mark, I know we've got a bunch this week, so I'll let you start firing away.
And, the more eccentric ones we get, we sometimes hold on to. So if you sent one that's awesome and we haven't gotten to it yet, there's still a chance we're going to hit it up on a future episode. So let's jump right into it. This first one here is from Tony. He says, I'm a little late sending this. Meant to send it when I got back to Cincinnati, but now is as good a time as any with the positive vibes from that game on Sunday. I live in Nashville, but was able to attend in Charlotte and sat next to Jimmy Chase. He was great to sit by. He talked with us and took a picture with us after Jamar gave him the game ball. And I think he sent us a picture of that.
Sure did. Bam. There it is. Look at that. It is. Bam. What's up?
He said he was super kind, and seeing him get the ball from his son was an awesome moment to see. He said he's been meaning to send something over, thanking all of us for the extra podcasts. He said when Paul and Jay got back together, it pumped up Bengals fans. He always loves listening to you guys together. The walkout feels much more like home. He also loves the additions of Dey Light. Let's go.
There you go.
And Balds Don't Lie. More Growler podcasts are always a good thing. And he loves Mark, Dave, and, of course, Mo on the team. He also loves the added Graders sponsorship. The best ice cream and the best podcast is always a win. And this is just a great start to the email.
Checking every box to get on.
He's name checking sponsors. He's hitting all the hosts, all the shows.
Sending stuff in. Absolutely.
So he continues. He says, I'm originally from Cincinnati. I don't get back as much as I'd like. I did coach a basketball tournament there in July for Under Armour, and I always remember you guys talking about 50 West. So I went there the first time with the family. What an awesome place. My wife and kids were able to get their graders, go to Kings Island, go to the zoo while I was coaching. I missed those, but at least I did get my Donatos fix, and also Penn Station. That was
Penn Station getting so much love today.
The before times, before they lost all that.
Before times.
He said, seeing Jamar give the ball to his dad made me think of a run, pass, or boot. The best Bengals dancing touchdown celebration. Run, pass, or boot. The Icky Shuffle, Chad's River Dance, or Jamar's Gritty. And he says, anyway, just wanted to thank you guys for all you do. Win, lose, or draw. The Growler's the best NFL podcast there is from Tony. Thank you, Tony. What an email. Wow. What a picture.
What an email. An overwhelming amount of flattery will absolutely get you to the top of the questions. Thank you. That's great. I will say, to answer this question, I mean, first of all, there's only so many things that are truly iconic and owned by Cincinnati, and that is the Icky Shuffle. That it will never be topped. The tradition, the iconic history, the Super Bowl run, that nobody else. The Gritty is owned. The River Dance is Michael Flatley's dance. The Gritty also is done by Justin Jefferson, rather famously. Icky and the Cincinnati Bengals are the shuffle. Okay, it was Icky Woods handing the trophy to Mike Brown on the stage in the AFC Championship with the B in the bag, of course. That day, it's Icky. I mean, there's no beating that down. Like, that is number one. Now, if we're talking about second or third, Jamar had so many celebrations, or Chad had so many celebrations, that I look at Jamar's Gritty and I put that above Chad's River Dance, because Chad's River Dance was just sort of one of many. I wouldn't even put it overall in his top 5 or 10. It was good, but I'm not going all the way with the River Dance. I'm booting the River Dance. and putting gritty ahead of it.
Yeah, and I know for a run, pass, or boot, it would be much better podcasting for me to disagree with your take or have a completely opposite view, but you hit it right. It's the Icky Shuffle stands alone. The River Dance. Now, if we made it all of Chad's celebrations against Jamar's celebrations, then yeah, I would give the nod to Chad there. But you're right. You talk about other guys doing the gritty too. We've got another one on the team. Mike Gesicki does it. You would know that if he would ever score a touchdown again. But maybe he will this season. Maybe he'll come around. And yeah, exactly. Maybe we will get to see it in a Bengals uniform if we hope hard enough. But yeah, you're right. That's the way it's got to go. The gritty's great, but the Icky Shuffle stands alone for sure.
Shout out Tony for a great email, for a great question, sending in photo to go with it. I saw Jimmy Chase in the airport. You know who else I saw in the airport? It was Charlotte Airport was just chaos. But twisting in the TSA line, there's always you see the same person over and over again when you go back and forth through those lines. Pete Carroll, former Seattle and USC coach. Pete Carroll, longtime colleague of Dave Canales, Carolina head coach. So must have been in town to support his buddy or whatever. But yeah, Pete Carroll just kind of going along in his khakis, chewing his gum, going through the just living up to every stereotype. So shout out to Pete Carroll, but also Jimmy Chase. I saw him down there as well, had the ball bag and was walking that ball and going to Chase's grandparents is what he said was the gift after the game. But Tony, this was so good. This is Graders worthy.
Yeah,
that's a Graders worthy experience from Tony. Shout you out, Tony. Hit us up, so drop us an email, and we will. Our great friend at Graders will send you a 6-pack. Just let us know a couple of your favorite flavors, and we'll get that thing sitting on your doorstep before too long. Great email, great way to kick us off on a Friday, Tony. Appreciate it.
That's the key to becoming Graders worthy, right? Is you have to have he's got a personal story. He had a good question too, and he filled it with a ton of praise for us. That's the recipe. Yes. Some people try too hard. Some try too hard to be Graders worthy and keep dropping hint after hint after hint. Hey, maybe this is Graders worthy. Maybe this email gets me free ice cream. There was none of that from Tony. He had a nice Graders plug or two, but you could tell that he was just putting in the effort all around without being overt about it. That's what I appreciate. Yeah. This next email is from Cameron. You'll notice another common thing at the beginning of this. He says, awesome work on the podcast. And I love the need for the urgency in the type of game like this one. The Bengals have a weak run defense. See, there's another person that notices the defense. And the Ravens got Lamar and Derrick Henry. Ravens have a weak pass defense, and the Bengals got Joe Burrow and lots of weapons. Which defensive weakness will most likely determine the outcome of the game in your minds?
I mean, it really feels like that Bengals run defense. It's the Bengals offense, and Joe Burrow can hang with anybody. There's no doubt about that. But man, it's so demoralizing when a team just shoves it down your gullet. Man, and that's what they do, and they're just relentless. They're historic about it. They were going to be, I put this in my column up on The Athletic today, kind of looking at the stakes of this game and how it's kind of on Burrow's shoulders and what's really on the line. And Jay and I talked about a little bit of this yesterday, but when you talk about a team that with 119 rushing yards on Sunday, they will be the second team since 1984 to have 1,000 rushing yards in their first 5 games. Not since Back to the Future 1. It's not since the first Reagan administration. This is the second time. The other one was in 2006. They are just running the ball down people's throats at unprecedented levels. The last 2 weeks have been nuclear. They figured out this Lamar Jackson Henry thing is just an unstoppable force and gotten that just right. Ricard as the fullback, it doesn't get enough praise, blocking stuff up in front of him. He's so good. It is, and it's just such a weakness for the Bengals, and you can just see the missed tackles leading to so many things. It's demoralizing. You can keep up. You can have a shootout, but man, it's really hard, and it's hard to create turnovers, which is going to be such a big part of this game when the other team is just able to run it and stay in third and manageable situations. We saw that Washington 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, the recipe for the Ravens looks very simple. And looking at this game, I kind of think all right, well, what the Bengals offense does is nice, but it's going to be really hard to pull out a win here. It's probably not going to look like a pretty game. But I've been wrong at every point in this season. So maybe I'm wrong again here. That's what I'm hoping for. And maybe the Bengals employ a strategy that they used against Kansas City when they just let them run for 6 yards on every single carry and then hope that the other team gets a little bit bored running for 6 yards every time. And they start doing some passing, and then maybe a guy drops a ball or there's an interception. Maybe they just get bored of running it down our throats.
Yeah, I mean, you have to stack the box. You have to force, you look at what Lamar has been throwing the ball even over 10 or 20 yards. I mean, this season, it hasn't been pretty. They haven't connected a ton. You've just got to force them to do that. It's got to be anything else. You've got to stack the box. You've got to be out there in base defense. I think Akeem Davis-Gaither should play a big role in this game as a third linebacker and stay after them.
Yeah,
it's just hard because it's power and speed, and when you have that combination, it's brutal. But yeah, so that
even against a good defense,
force Lamar to throw over top of them. They've got
So this the next one's Corey. He says, given where the Bengals are now, right? If you can choose one of the following players that turns out to be a dude over the rest of this season, who are you going to pick? Dax Hill, Chris Jenkins, or Myles Murphy? Or you could also throw Osai into that last one of Myles Murphy or Osai. So he had to pick one of those guys to turn into a dude for the rest of the season.
For the rest of this season, I mean, I think probably Chris Jenkins. I mean, I don't know. Jenkins or Murphy over Hill, because you can still hope that other guys there, you have other hopes there. Murphy for the long run, I think you need more than anything. They're gonna need pass rush. We don't know what the future of Trey Hendrickson's gonna look like. They need it so badly. So I probably would say Murphy, because I think his upside in dudedom is as a pass rusher, whereas Jenkins' upside is probably more overall, can do a little bit of everything, and they need a little bit of everything there. But if we're splitting hairs here, I'd run with Murphy. I would pass Jenkins, and I would boot Dax Hill. It'd be a lift, obviously, but I just think the pass rush is in such more dire straits than coverage right now. And you can rely on other guys in coverage. And I don't know who you're turning to right now on the defensive line specifically, that, outside of health and the guys you could have, but Hubbard certainly doesn't look like a guy that's going to all of a sudden start being great rushing the passer off the edge. They need Murphy to come back and be a dude quickly.
Yeah, and I think especially for this season, you need that extra pass rush juice. You don't know where else it's coming from. With Chris Jenkins, I would love to see him turn into a dude. I think he can be a dude even after the club comes off. But you still have Sheldon Rankins and B.J. Hill there, who are going to get a lot of snaps in the middle. Myles Murphy, he could start seeing a ton of playing time once he's fully ready to contribute. It's not like Sam Hubbard has been that good. There's a clearer path for him to have a much bigger role. So I think I'd go with Murphy on that one too.
All right. This is our time. You've been hearing us talk about it all week. You've been listening to the podcast. Our great friends at Future Fans. Here they are. They're awesome. Like I can't recommend this product enough. And this is not me saying it because they come on the show. This has worked with my kids. If you want to connect with your kids on how football works, it's a hard game to teach. It's hard for kids to understand. They lose track of it quickly and don't care. This absolutely works. It helps little kids become big fans. It was inspired by the Bengals run of the Super Bowl back in 2021. They're Growl Pals. They're one of us. They created this super unique storybook activity boxes that they help your kid understand football through parallel ways of teaching it, not just, hey, this is how football works. And it's fun. They get to do unboxing and bit by bit learn the different parts of kind of how it might work. And then when you turn the football, they pick it right up. It's awesome. Also, there's a touchdown dance. The first thing my kid, a great friend sent us this new box that they have. They'd done this before last year and it worked, and they love football. We sent it again. They were like, oh, let's open it up again. And they were so excited. The first thing they wanted to do was go do the touchdown dance again. And so they're around doing the scratchy bottom hop, where you like scratch your butt and then you do a chicken wing and then you do the other side, another chicken wing, and you hop. They're like hopping all around the house and can't wait to do it. Like that stuff, that type of stuff just works. It connects with them. And it's such a great part of the entire Future Fans experience. Can't recommend it enough. You've opened up the box over there, Mark, right?
I have. You know what I liked about it too is it really juices up story time. I was doing it with my daughter. I'm like, yeah, we're just reading this book here, and then all of a sudden we're opening up, one of the different things, the activities, and now we're throwing bean bags around and learning about how downs work and stuff. She was loving it. And it just elevates the entire story time by adding all these other elements to it. And she's learning football. So now when I have the game on, she's not going to viscerally hate it as much as she used to.
Future Fans has been going around and doing some events in the community with Bengals players, and with the Bengals, they've kind of been co-oping together there a little bit. And so they're hoping that maybe someday they'll see Mike Hilton or Andre Yosevich, some of these people that have done it, come out and do the scratchy bottom hop. Yoshi seems to get in the end zone enough that maybe there'd be an opportunity for him to need a new dance. One, especially the other one, was getting him fined when he was doing the bow and arrow. Got that rescinded though. Got it rescinded. The NFL said, "All right, we'll allow bows and arrows. Those aren't real weapons in America." So they're okay with it.
They're okay with it as long as he does the scratchy bottom dance later in the season.
Yeah, absolutely. So make sure you go pick this up. It's $49.99 at futurefans.com. Use the code Growler and you'll get 10% off, or just go down to King Arthur's Court in Oakley. You can unlock a lifetime memories with the kid in your life. Start right now. Can't recommend this enough. Seriously, great product.
Yeah, it's awesome. Hard recommend for me too. It's great.
All right. Let's go. Growler Bet. So if you missed yesterday, or just want to know real quick, Growler Bet for this week is Ravens rushing yards. We had no winner last week. People were all up in the vicinity, but couldn't quite hit it. No winner. But this we're expanding the possibilities, trying to get winners here. We want you guys to win. Again, you've got to do better, but we're trying to help you be in a more advantageous situation. 3 yards in either direction. You got to have the number right within 3 yards in either direction, and you will be the winner of a bar bill at one of our live shows down at Nation BetMGM. And so
I'm rooting for somebody in this one too. Like I love watching these submissions come in, and I love all the different subject headers and everything. But there's one guy I'm rooting for specifically this week, and it's the dude that emails his guests every week, and it's 69. It doesn't matter what the question is. His answer is just 69 every time. It is, it makes me laugh like I'm in high school again. But yeah, so I would love to see him hold him to 69 rushing yards. So I'm really rooting for that dude this week.
Yeah, that I don't know it's going to be a winner this week, but you know what, you got to appreciate the dedication. Maybe he should go with 169 or 269 might be better.
69 per quarter, maybe.
Yeah, might be the way to go with that one. All right, so you're flying out. You've got a weekend of shows that coming off of your Vegas experience.
I know it's the tour schedule's picked up a lot, so I went straight from spending a lot of time in Vegas for a bunch of shows and the huge comedy festival. I'm in Atlanta this weekend with a friend of the show, Josh Sneed. I think we'll have some Growl Pals maybe coming out that reached out to me, so that's something to look forward to. And then coming up, I do have some stuff in Ohio finally. So October 12th, I'll be breaking my rule about not performing in Loveland where I live and doing shows in downtown Loveland, some pop-up shows for their huge Return of the Frogman event. So go check me out down there. And my next proper headlining show in Cincinnati is October 19th at Dead Low Brewing. It is a great room, great food, great beer there. I think, Lance McAllister's been out there before when I've done shows before. So he vouches for it. So go check the place out, man. It's a cool spot.
Also, shout out to Asheville.
Yeah, I did want to mention that too. Yeah. Asheville got crushed in that hurricane, right? And I have a lot of friends in Asheville because it's one of the cities that I go to the most for stand-up. And do whatever you can to help those people out this week. They're all in, kind of rough spot right now. And there's a ton of different places you can donate to and send your money to that'll help them get back on their feet. I ended up donating just directly to some of the comedians out there who have lost now weeks and maybe months of shows, some of the local scene there. But do whatever you can to help those people.
Akeem Davis Gaither, who went to App State, if you follow him on Instagram, has been sending out stuff with ways to help. App State is running something to try to help people in Boone and also in the Asheville area down that whole space. So you can do stuff through that if you see it. Also, good friends of the pod at Lucius Q and at Eli's Barbecue. They've added some American Red Cross donations. that can be made when you go and get some barbecue through them. So they're having kind of working together on that, where if you go, you can make a donation. You just, after you pay your bill, you just put in, you can give $2, $5, or $10 to the American Red Cross, and it'll go directly into helping everybody down there. It's really dire straits down there. Highly recommend going and helping out and eating some good barbecue in the process too, if that's something that you want to do. Can't recommend that enough. All right, dad life to wrap us up. Mark, what do you got?
I've run into a problem this week. My oldest daughter is in 6th grade, and she's now hit the age where people have started Googling me and, asking her questions about me, since they find out that I'm a comedian and that's interesting and different and stuff. So now she's got to start fielding all those questions. And it's a little bit tricky, because like your kid's obvious, she just thinks I'm like a big famous comedian. And so now she'll have people Googling me, and I hope that they don't find certain videos that I've got out there where I'm talking about the family and that stuff. Not that there's a ton of bad things out there, but you know what? Maybe we'll start getting a lot of 6th grade Growl Pals, listening to the podcast. I don't know how a kid at that age probably would even listen, maybe on their Chromebook at school. We'll pick up some audience that way. But yeah, so I'm having to start to navigate that. I'm like, hey, if they're giving you questions, you point them to my IMDb page. How many of their dads have 3 specials out there? How many of them were on an episode of Laughs on Fox in 2015? All these credits that are going to mean nothing to a child. TV. Yeah, I've been on the TV. I've been on a streaming network, not one you've heard of.
On a screen. I've been on a screen. You know what? You mentioned that get some 6th graders and Growl Pals. We've talked about. I would love to do some kid centric shows. Like, I think it'd be fun for us to do some kids shows, some Bengals kids shows. If you guys think that would be cool or have any ideas on how we could pull them off, we've got a few that we're kicking around. But especially in the off season, I think it'd be cool to do some kid shows, kid event type things. Based around the Bengals and the podcast for. So if there's ways that you think it could happen, let us know. Mine, I have a little bit of a recap over last week's birthday party, which we did at Run, Jump, and Play, which I recommend. It's an awesome place. It's over in Blue Ash. Every single way you can literally run, jump, or play is there. It's incredible. They've just got rooms upon rooms of inflatables and trampolines and you name it. Great place for a party. They also have these back rooms where they basically take you into once a certain point in time in your 2-hour window happens. They say, okay, announce everybody that's here for whoever's birthday party. Come line up here. They take you into the back and they take care of everything. They do the pizza and they keep the cake stuff going, the plates, everything. They kind of like, look, we will do it all for you, essentially. Except the one part about it is the way they space it out is you basically get like an hour and 15, hour and 10 minutes out in the run, jump, and play area. And the kids are hungry and they work up. I mean, that's a lot of time for them to be doing as intense as the play is. But then you realize as a parent, you've got to handle 50 minutes locked basically in a room with all of these kids at the birthday party who are hopped up on cake and energy from playing and everything else. And everybody, then you've got the toys that you're giving away. It is a lot of looking at your clock. A lot of looking at the watch, a lot of looking at the clock on the wall. They actually have a broken clock on the wall, I believe on purpose. Because they're like, we don't need people let's just leave this broken. It's hurting us as much as people are just staring at this clock, waiting for the time to be over as parents, because it is a lot to basically, because you can't go back out there because that's how the time works. They move it. The second part of the party isn't there. Once they yell that name and you realize, oh boy, it's us in the room now. We've got to power our way through. It is a lot to handle, but we did it. We figured out that giving out noisemakers at the end is the best way to clear a room. And so right when we were kind of like, we think it's time for it to end, maybe a little early, we just handed out noisemakers to all the kids, and we can only so many people can handle that for so long. And everyone exited. Yeah, at that point, they're all hopped up on cake. They want to keep running, jumping, and playing, and there's not a whole lot in that room to do. They get the noisemakers. That level of chaos just sounds like a Penn Station on a Who Day Tuesday, People want to quit their jobs. Nobody wants to be there. They just want to put their name on a legal pad and get the heck out of there. And that's what we did. But yeah, it was a great time. Shout out to them though, because they make it easy on you. It's a total no frills. You don't have to do any work. You basically just show up and they kind of take care of it. And that's the kind of party I can get behind. Absolutely. So, shout out to them. All right, Mark, enjoy your trip. Enjoy Atlanta. Hope the shows go well. Say hi to the Growl Pals for me. And we will talk to you on the flip side. We'll be monitoring your tweets.
Hopefully they're happy this week.
There you go. All right. Thanks. We'll talk to you next time, everybody.